Every morning, as the pale dawn creeps through the window, we stand before a seemingly simple choice: to repeat yesterday or bravely begin a new journey for our lives. Maybe you're like me, yearning for control, longing to live with meaning, yet you find yourself swept up in the endless cycle of work, fatigue, and frustration, asking, why am I still stuck in the same place? Sometimes the problem isn't laziness, but that we've simply forgotten how to start. The illusion that we still have plenty of time leads us to procrastinate, letting each day slip by without purpose. But life waits for no one. Stoic philosophy doesn't offer empty promises. It's a solid map that helps us master ourselves, not waiting for miracles, not blaming circumstances. After 10 years of struggle, I realized there are 9 lessons that seem simple, but each was paid for with time, setbacks, and solitude. 10 years is long enough to see. Success doesn't belong to those who make excuses, but to those who persist in changing morning after morning without giving up. Reach the final lesson where every piece falls into place, and you'll understand. Life doesn't reward dreamers, but those who endure without excuses. Lesson 1. Let go of the things you can't control. It's a chilly morning. You lace up your running shoes, ready to start the day, but as you step outside, rain pours down. Traffic snarls on the main road, and messages of unfinished work light up your phone. In that moment, frustration rises. You want to scream, change the weather, fix the traffic, erase the to-do list piling up in your inbox. But all you can do is stand there at the edge of the day, powerless before a world that refuses to bend to your will. This is the crossroads where many of us stumble. The desire to control everything around us collides with the stubborn truth that most things are beyond our grasp. It's tempting to rage against the storm, to curse the traffic, to let disappointment poison our morning. Yet, the harder we cling to what we cannot change, the more powerless and drained we become. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago, and their wisdom echoes in our daily struggles. As Epictetus wrote, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." This deceptively simple observation cuts to the heart of human suffering. How much pain comes from wrestling with what we cannot command? How many mornings are ruined by things that were never in our control to begin with? I, too, have wasted years fighting battles I could never win. I've spent countless hours tangled in frustration, desperately hoping I could change the way others think or feel. My mind wandered back to old regrets, replaying every mistake and harsh word. I let the smallest injustices haunt me, clinging to each unexpected setback as if I could somehow rewrite history. The result was always the same: exhaustion, frustration, and a creeping sense of helplessness. But the moment I learned to pause and ask, "Is this within my control?" was the moment everything began to shift. Instead of pouring energy into the rain, I started focusing on what I could do. Adjust my plans, bring an umbrella, choose a new route, or simply accept that some mornings will be wet and inconvenient. This choice, repeated over time, became a habit, a quiet strength that the world could not shake. The Stoic lesson is not about indifference or resignation. It is about clarity and power. When you let go of what you can't control, you free your hands to shape what you can. Your thoughts, your responses, your decisions. Even in the face of chaos, you become the master of your own actions. This is not easy, and some days The temptation to lash out or withdraw will feel overwhelming. But every morning offers a new chance to practice. Start with the small things, the weather, the moods of others, the news on your screen. Let them pass, untouched by your anxiety. Pour your effort into your own mindset, your morning rituals, your kindness, your discipline. Epictetus's words are more than ancient wisdom. They are an invitation to reclaim your life. Some things are up to us and some things are not. Reflect on this line. What burdens are you carrying that were never yours to hold? What would it feel like to finally set them down? The day is waiting not for you to control everything, but for you to master yourself. This is how inner strength is built. One morning, one choice, and one release at a time. And when you look back, you'll see that letting go was never a weakness. It was the beginning of your real power. Lesson 2. Every day can start over. There is a quiet magic in the morning, a subtle grace that seeps in with the first light. No matter how heavy the burdens of yesterday, every new dawn brings a choice. Will you let regret and disappointment chain you to the past, or will you allow yourself just for today to begin again? The truth is, your past does not own you. No matter how many times you have fallen, every morning hands you back your power, the right to start over. Think of the city before sunrise. The streets are washed clean, silent, waiting. The runner is tying his shoes for another attempt, despite yesterday's fatigue. The barista at the corner cafe is grinding beans, preparing to greet the first customer. In these small scenes, you can see it. Life itself, inviting you to release what's gone and try once more. The Stoics knew this wisdom long before neuroscience could explain it. Marcus Aurelius, that philosopher king who wrote by lamplight before dawn, reminds us, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This is not just a comforting sentiment, it is a challenge to appreciate that every sunrise is a blank page and that your worth is not measured by your mistakes, but by your willingness to begin again. Modern science reinforces this ancient insight. In a 2014 study from the University of Pennsylvania, researchers Hengchen Dai, Catherine L. Milkman, and Jason Rees uncovered what they call the fresh start effect. They found that people are far more likely to adopt new habits or commit to positive change right after a temporal landmark, a new week, a new month, a birthday, or simply a new morning. These natural turning points create a mental reset, making us feel ready to leave setbacks behind and begin again. Every morning you stand at such a psychological threshold. You are not defined by yesterday's failures. You are the promise of today's effort. But the lesson goes deeper than research or poetic words. Maybe you felt it yourself waking up after a night of regret or disappointment, feeling the temptation to give up, to stay in bed and let the day slip away. Yet you drag yourself up, splash your face with cold water, and choose, just for today, to do the next right thing. Sometimes it's not dramatic. Sometimes it's writing a single line in your journal, stepping outside for 5 minutes of fresh air, or forgiving yourself for not being perfect. These small beginnings, repeated, become strength. Every act of starting over is a declaration, I am not defeated. It is a refusal to be defined by what went wrong. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot change, but also to take full responsibility for what we can. That responsibility begins again every single morning. So as you greet the dawn, remember, your strength is not in never stumbling, but in always getting up. Allow yourself the gift of starting over. Make it a habit, because every day is an open door, waiting for you to walk through. And if you want to truly make each morning count, there's something even more powerful: building a solid foundation from within. In the next lesson, we'll uncover how the roots of inner strength are laid deep beneath the surface, hidden from the world, but unshakable when storms arrive. Are you ready to discover the secret that makes resilience unbreakable? Stay with me for Lesson 3. Build a solid foundation from within. There is an old truth hidden in every stone of a mighty castle. No matter how tall its towers rise, it will not stand long if its foundation is neglected. The world loves the sight of strength battlements, thick walls, the promise of safety. But what holds it all together is often invisible, deep beneath the surface. The same is true for us. We can present confidence, manage tasks, and care for others. But if we neglect the foundation within, we risk collapse when the world shakes. Each morning offers a choice: rush headlong into duties, or pause to reinforce the structure that everything else depends upon our own inner strength. Many people, driven by a sense of duty or ambition, pour themselves into their work and responsibilities. They care for families, serve teams, chase goals, and in the process, forget their own needs. It's easy to convince ourselves that sacrifice is noble, yet history and experience show even the most dazzling castles fall if their foundations are cracked by neglect. This silent danger reveals itself slowly. At first, it might be subtle fatigue, irritability, a vague sense of emptiness. But over time, the toll of ignoring our physical and emotional well-being grows heavier. Without realizing it, we drift away from ourselves, losing touch with what truly matters. Emma Watson, who shot to fame as a child star, found herself overwhelmed by the non-stop pressure of movie sets, academic deadlines, and endless social obligations. At one point, she admitted feeling utterly drained, so busy that she barely recognized her own emotions anymore. The turning point came when Emma noticed how her mornings set the tone for the entire day. She decided to reclaim those first precious minutes after waking. Instead of scrolling through notifications or emails, Emma started each morning with a digital detox, keeping her phone out of reach and choosing quiet, mindful activities instead. She practiced meditation, lost herself in a book, or simply put her thoughts on paper through journaling. These intentional moments helped her reconnect with her inner self, letting her energy rebuild naturally. Over time, this morning ritual didn't just restore balance. It made Emma feel more grounded, present, and resilient to the chaos around her. Or Marcus Aurelius compared the mind to a cultivated garden left alone. Weeds take over. Cared for daily, it grows strong, fruitful, and ready for any storm. The Stoic approach is not about suppressing emotion, but about becoming so familiar with our inner landscape that we can guide and nurture it with intention. What does this look like in daily life? Every morning, most people leap into action, heads full of worries, phones in hand, bodies tense. The cost is subtle but real: chronic stress, a sense of emptiness, even illness. But imagine instead starting the day as a ritual, a sacred return to yourself. 5 minutes of breathing deeply, a glass of water, a stretch, a silent word of gratitude, even simply sitting with your thoughts before the noise begins. These acts are not luxuries. They are daily maintenance for your foundation. When we build ourselves up from within, we unlock a quiet power. The world outside may be chaotic, but our actions come from a place of clarity and strength. We become more capable, more compassionate, and more prepared to help others because we are no longer running on empty. True freedom, as the Stoics taught, is not having control over everything, but having control over ourselves, especially as the day begins. If you neglect your own foundation, no one can carry the weight of your life for you. You cannot give what you do not have. Each morning is a rare opportunity to rebuild, to return, to remind yourself. Your well-being is your responsibility. Start today, not tomorrow. After all, we never know how many mornings we have left to begin again. Lesson 4. Time doesn't wait for you. In the earliest moments of the morning, when the world is quiet and the city has yet to stir, there are two kinds of people. One wakes up with purpose, eyes open before the sun, quietly planning the day, determined to take action no matter how small. The other rolls over, hitting the snooze button, telling themselves there's always more time another morning, a better opportunity, a perfect mood yet to arrive. And yet, the truth is simple and sharp. Time waits for no one. Each sunrise is a gift you cannot reclaim. Life will not pause while you search for readiness. Far too often, we fall for the illusion that life is patient, that we can begin tomorrow or when we feel ready. This gentle form of procrastination, repeated day after day, steals the most precious opportunities. The Stoics warned against this temptation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you have 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power." This is not a grim reminder, but an urgent call to live fully, intentionally, and now. Action does not require the perfect moment. In fact, the difference between those who move forward and those who remain stuck is rarely talent or luck. It is the courage to act before conditions seem ideal. Small steps, taken consistently each morning, accumulate into profound change. One person writes just a few lines each dawn, another ties their running shoes and steps into the crisp air, while the rest wait for the perfect mood. The results over time are worlds apart. It's not that we lack time, we lack clarity and priority. Everyone is granted 24 hours a day, but what distinguishes a fulfilled life from an empty one is how those hours are shaped. The habit of waiting for more motivation, waiting for life to slow down, waiting for everything to feel right, only ensures that years pass with nothing to show. If you don't begin now, where will you be in 6 months? In 5 years? Every morning is an answer to that question, a chance to shape the future or let it slip away. The solution is not grand, but simple. Begin today, no matter how small the action. Life respects the person who shows up and tries. Do not let time slip quietly past your door. Start now and make every morning a vote for the person you want to become. Are you up for the challenge? Comment, "I'm ready," and get started now. Lesson 5. Turn regrets into lessons. There's a quiet heaviness that clings to us long after the world has moved on. Regret. It rarely screams. Instead, it lingers subtly, persistently, a shadow following us through our days. I have known this feeling intimately. There were mornings when I would wake and instantly replay the moments I wished I could change, promises broken to myself, time wasted scrolling or doubting, opportunities left behind because I hesitated. These memories loop endlessly, their whispers beginning with, "if only," or "I should have." Regret becomes a language we speak to ourselves, keeping us trapped in a narrative that never changes. Yet the true source of regret is not the past, but the present. We regret it because deep down, we know we could act differently today, and we aren't. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Our pain does not stem from what happened, but from our refusal to release it. We clutch the memory, hoping it might change, when all it does is hold us back. Not all regret is the same. Some kinds can fuel growth, a sharp pang that nudges us to be better, to learn. But left unchecked, regret festers into self-blame and paralysis. Instead of learning, we freeze, and the loop tightens. According to a national study led by Dr. Neil Rose and Mike Morrison, 2011, the regrets that tend to endure the longest are those about inaction, missed opportunities, unspoken words, and relationships left unexplored. These lingering regrets often haunt us with the quiet ache of what could have been, overshadowing even the mistakes we did make. If we allow regret to rule, we become strangers to the present. We miss the sweetness of what's in front of us: laughter, connection, small victories. Our motivation fades, days blur. Life, instead of feeling alive, grows heavy with old ghosts. But Stoicism advises us a radical alternative. Don't deny regret, study it. Accept it as a natural part of being human. Observe what it's trying to show you. Write down the lessons hidden in your mistakes. Forgive yourself for being imperfect, and crucially, act differently today. Each morning is a new invitation to live by your own wisdom, not your wounds. Even one small step, an apology, a new habit, a promise kept transforms regret from a burden into a building block. In the end, your past is not your prison. It is your most honest teacher. Carry the lesson, not the weight. Honor yourself by choosing growth, not rumination. Every new day is proof. You have the power to move forward, stronger for what you've learned. Lesson 6. Act in silence, celebrate in private. In an age where every ambition is announced, every minor step broadcast for likes and approval, the urge to share your dreams the moment they are born can feel irresistible. We imagine that a post on social media, a quick word to friends or colleagues, will fuel our motivation and pull us closer to success. But the truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. When you declare your goals to the world too early, you risk draining their energy. Science has shown that publicizing our intentions tricks the mind into a premature sense of accomplishment, making us less likely to persist. The applause comes too soon, and the work quietly loses its urgency. Dreams, like seeds, require darkness and silence to take root. Exposed too early, they are swept away before they have a chance to grow. Real achievers understand this. They act in silence, pouring their effort into the early mornings when the world is still, letting their progress accumulate far from the spotlight. They resist the temptation to seek validation, and when success arrives, they don't rush to display trophies for the world's approval. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote that the wise are content with their journey, not the applause of strangers. For those who walk the Stoic path, silence is not weakness, it is agency, control and self-trust. It is the discipline to commit to your dream, to nurture it in private, and to let your results speak on your behalf. Harper Lee spent years quietly writing To Kill a Mockingbird, rarely speaking about her work or ambitions. She kept her creative process private, focusing on the story rather than public attention. Even after the novel's immense success, Lee shunned the spotlight, refusing interviews and avoiding fame. Her silence wasn't shyness, it was strength. She let the power of her words do all the talking, allowing her novel to inspire generations and stand as a testament to the value of quiet dedication. Lee's life stands in stark contrast to the noise and self-promotion often seen in the literary world. She didn't chase trends or seek validation from critics. Instead, she poured her energy into writing a story that mattered, one that would outlast any fleeting attention. By choosing solitude over the spotlight, Lee protected her creative spirit. She proved that lasting impact doesn't require constant publicity sometimes. The most influential voices are those that speak through their work, not their words. To Kill a Mockingbird endures precisely because Lee trusted in the quiet force of authenticity, showing us that true influence is born from depth, not volume. Maturity is measured not by how loudly we announce our dreams, but by how many mornings we persist without anyone watching. The commitment you keep in private matters more than the praise you collect in public. Each morning as you pursue your goal, do so quietly. Don't look for applause. Don't beg for attention. Let discipline become your daily ritual until the outcome unmistakably announces itself. So, as you journey onward, remember, true strength lies in restraint. Don't trade your dreams for fleeting validation. The world's approval is fickle. Your silent discipline is eternal. And now, let's ask a question that only you can answer. Are you building your own dreams, or just living for someone else's wishes? The next lesson is waiting, and it might change the way you see everything. Lesson 7. Own your dreams, not work for someone else's wishes. Every morning, before the world fully wakes, there's a quiet moment where you get to choose. Will you build your own dream, or will you spend another day simply fueling someone else's ambitions? Too often, people drift through their days, repeating the motions of yesterday, not because they have chosen this path, but because they've never paused long enough to choose at all. They surrender their precious hours and energy, not to their deepest hopes, but to obligations and agendas crafted by others. Gradually, their own dreams fade into the background, dimmed by the persistent glare of others' expectations. Living this way may feel safe, even responsible. The world calls it stability, a steady job, a predictable life. But Stoicism warns against mistaking comfort for fulfillment. When you ignore your inner ambitions, when you defer your own journey in the name of security, you aren't just settling, you're slowly losing your identity, one day at a time. What remains is a hollow version of yourself, busy but unfulfilled, productive but unmotivated, present but numb. The true worth of a person is measured not by status or fame, but by the clarity of their ambition and the daily commitment to pursue it. Yet dreams aren't realized through grand, impulsive leaps. Stoicism is not about reckless passion. It's about purposeful, steady action. It's about waking up each morning and carving out even just a few minutes for what matters to you, no matter how small. Maybe it's journaling, reading, learning a new skill, or simply reminding yourself why you want to live differently. Each choice however minor, is a quiet vote for the person you wish to become. Without clear goals, it's easy to be swept away by someone else's current, to spend years helping build empires and legacies that aren't your own. Eventually, you wake up and realize that you've never truly lived for yourself. The greatest pain isn't failure, but the regret of never having tried. The solution then is radical ownership of your time, your intentions, your mornings. Every day ask yourself, what have I done today, even if just for 15 minutes, to lay a brick for my own dream? Don't wait for permission or for the perfect moment. No one can build your dream for you. Start now, however small. The difference between existing and living is found in this simple act of self-responsibility and the courage to claim your mornings for yourself. Lesson 8. Choose who you listen to. There are moments in life when a single whisper, sometimes from a friend, sometimes from a stranger, can hold us back more than any wall ever could. Perhaps you have hesitated to take a risk or quietly abandoned a dream, all because you feared what others might say. Maybe you recall the times when someone dismissed your ambitions with a careless, "That's too risky," or "You're not cut out for it." Their words echo like a warning, not out of your own truth, but out of their limitations. In reality, this is no different from choosing friends who lift you up, or teachers who see your potential rather than your flaws. The people we listen to shape the story we tell ourselves every day. We live in a world drowning in advice. Opinions flood our screens, unsolicited comments fill our inboxes, and the pressure of public judgment feels heavier than ever. It is easy to lose yourself in the noise, to doubt your instincts, to hand your direction over to the crowd. Most of us have been taught from childhood to listen and obey, so much so that when it comes time to make our own choices, we hesitate, waiting for permission that never truly comes. The more we seek approval, the further we drift from the quiet voice inside, the one that knows what we really want. But not all advice deserves your attention. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius warned that many offer guidance based on their own fears and insecurities, not your growth. When we follow the herd, we risk sacrificing who we are, giving up our passions, and letting others write the script of our lives. The true danger is not in failing, but in never hearing your own voice above the roar of the crowd. Yet, the solution is within reach. You can and must choose who you allow into your circle of influence. Ask yourself, does this person live a life I admire? Does their advice push me forward or hold me back? Curate your relationships as carefully as you would a garden. Remove the weeds, nurture what makes you stronger. With each conscious choice, you reclaim your inner compass, rebuilding trust in yourself and the direction you wish to go. Stoicism teaches discernment, not isolation. It is about filtering the world, not shutting it out, listening deeply, but only to those whose words encourage you to grow. As you practice this discipline daily, you'll find your life aligning with your values, not the expectations of others. And this brings us to the final, perhaps most crucial lesson. True success does not come to those who make excuses or wait for approval. It rewards those who persevere. What happens when you refuse to give up, no matter the noise? That's the secret waiting in. Lesson 9. Life rewards perseverance, not excuses. Picture the quiet promise you make to yourself at dawn. Today, you will honor your word. You will follow through whether anyone notices or not. For those who live by principle and treat their commitments with reverence, this small act becomes the cornerstone of inner strength. Yet, if we are honest, how many of us keep these promises for more than a few days? Studies show that 92% of people fail to achieve their New Year's resolutions, not because their goals are unreachable or their abilities lacking, but because perseverance fades when the days grow long and no one is watching. The real test is not in moments of high motivation, but in the repetition of ordinary days. Perseverance is not stubbornness. It is the quiet ability to keep faith with yourself, even when applause is absent and the world is silent. Excuses, whether it's a busy schedule, shifting moods, or unexpected setbacks, creep in subtly, dissolving the resolve we swore to hold. It doesn't happen all at once. It begins when we let a single morning run slip, push back a journal entry, or skip meditation because it's just one day. Over time, these lapses accumulate. They shape our character, slowly etching patterns of doubt and defeat into the way we see ourselves. Procrastination feeds itself. Each excuse we make trains our minds to surrender more easily the next time. We tell ourselves motivation will come, but the truth is that motivation follows action, not the other way around. Waiting for the perfect moment only fuels the cycle of inaction and regret. The solution is disarmingly simple. Build a system of perseverance out of the smallest actions. Just 10 lines written, 10 minutes exercised, 2 minutes of stillness. These are not insignificant. Repeated daily, they become the scaffolding for lasting change. With each promise you keep to yourself, trust grows quietly. The transformation is not loud or dramatic. It is the steady accumulation of small, faithful acts performed in the privacy of your own life. Life does not reward those who make grand plans, speak beautifully, or dream without limits. The true rewards come to those who persevere, those who act, fail, begin again, and refuse to wait for the right time. So start now, even if the step feels trivial. Choose one thing you've postponed and finish it today. The strength you seek is forged, not found, in the fire of daily repeated effort. This is the silent, relentless path the Stoics walked, and the only road to real, lasting change. 10 years of searching, stumbling, and learning have shown me this. Change doesn't come from waiting, but from choosing every single morning to build a stronger version of yourself. The 9 lessons I've shared are not just theory. They're the small, hard-won habits that shift your life brick by brick, day by day. Each morning is a fresh chance to take control, to stop making excuses, and to become the person you want to be. Remember, Stoicism is not about ignoring reality or chasing empty hope. It's about facing life with clarity, accepting what you cannot control, and mastering what you can. Real growth is slow, imperfect, and often lonely, but it's always worth it. Now, I want to hear from you. Which lesson resonated with you the most? Have you struggled with starting over, or do you have a morning ritual that's changed your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. If this video inspired you, please hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to watch the next videos that appear on the screen. Keep going, stay strong, and remember, your life is built one morning at a time.